Hey everybody, it's Ron and Ellie back for another edition of Ask Ron. First up is Roberta Eastman from California.
Hey Roberta.
She says, Hi Ron, I have a manufactured home I'm willing to sell outright or do seller financing, but it's not moving as fast as I'd like. Buyer's purchase price is $37,900 and I could take as low as $5,000 down. I'm thinking of doing an auction for the highest bidder to outright buy it or for the highest down payment, and then I will carry the rest over 3 to 5 years. Anything I should be thinking out to do an auction?
Roberta, I can tell you right now an auctions is going to be a pain in the neck for you. And in my opinion, it cheapens the whole process, and all it does is bring out the greed in people. I think you're going to be a whole lot better off just getting some good ads out there and advertise owner financing and no bank qualifying. Make sure you put those words in there, no bank qualifying. And you should get plenty of calls just from that alone, and just hang in there till you get somebody. $5,000 down is not an unreasonable request on your part, especially if you're willing to owner finance the balance. So do a little bit better advertising. Get your ads on Facebook as well as on Craigslist and the free FSBO sites, and you ought to go find some you say manufactured home. I'm not sure whether you meant that was a mobile home, because a manufactured home could be one that did not come with wheels. I don't know which one it is. But if it happens to be one that came with wheels, whether the wheels are on it or off it, you should also go look to see if there are any mobile home sites that you should be making this same advertisement on as well. Get the word out. Make sure people can contact you. Don't hide from them. Don't be your own customer prevention department. But if I were you, I would drive them into a voicemail or our IVR and find out how much money they have to put down before I even bothered calling them back. So that's your important question. How much can you put down and how much can you pay per month? And when you get those answers, you'll know what 10% you want to call back, because 90% are not worth your trouble. Hope that helps.
Next up is Marianne Nunez from California.
Good old Mary.
Good old Mary. She says, if I own a home that I'm doing a lease option to a tenant and they move in the middle of the month, do they still pay the first month's payment and not prorated?
I assume that means you're leasing it in the middle of the month. So that can be done two ways. You want to know the truth? Usually I give them the 2 weeks left in the month, and I start their first payment the first of the following month. However, you can charge them for the 2 weeks and make them bring it to closing, or you can have their lease start in the middle of the month, and that means they owe you the middle of the following month. Most people are accustomed and assume that it's going to be on the first, so all of those decisions are up to you. I've done all of the above. But again, usually I just give them the last 2 weeks and then make their rent start the first of the following month. And if you've negotiated with your seller correctly, then you should not be making that payment come that 2 weeks later anyway, so it should not take money out of your pocket to do that with.
Next up is William Clark from Arizona.
Hey William.
William says, when taking title, is it best to initially transfer title to a land trust to protect that asset, then after closing transfer from that land trust to LLC?
Oh no, William. Actually, I just did a video on that. You'll find it right here on this same newsletter today, and I think that'll answer your question. But when you take title into a land trust, that title does not change until you are selling it to a buyer. You don't want it in an LLC, you want it in a land trust. And then if you want the LLC to own the land trust, so be it. Go watch that video that we supplied to you today. It was a training lesson about 15 minutes long on just that subject.
Last up this week is Craig Teeter from Texas.
Hey Craig.
Craig asks, what's the most effective way to protect myself against injury from fire and or other accidents on my property?
I assume you mean accidents by others, not yourself, Craig. If you're talking about protecting you from accidents, I say stay off the property and don't trip and don't hang around matches. But if that's not the case, if you're trying to protect yourself against other people, obviously you need to have a good fire insurance policy on it, and you should have an umbrella policy which takes over where your fire insurance leaves off on all of your property. That's why they call it an umbrella, and your personal life stuff as well. And of course you should learn how to hold your assets so that if you do get attacked and they do get a judgment, that they still can't come after them, even if they do have the right to. That comes under the heading of asset protection. That's one of the things that Lee Phillips is going to be discussing at our convention coming up here in September. But that literally is a whole seminar all on its own, and where the state you live in has a whole lot to do with it. I don't remember whether Texas is a tenants by the entirety state or not, you can actually look that up very easily. But if it is a tenants by the entirety state, that's how you want to own your LLCs and corporations. If you are married. Of course, if you are not married, then tenants by the entirety won't work for you. Tenants by the entirety protects the assets held jointly by both against any sins created by one, if your state honors it. And I think there's about 30 some odd states that do. So that's the best I can do for right now. And I think the most important thing you need to think about right now is making sure you got a good insurance policy on them and you have an umbrella policy. So anything that's likely to happen on that property will probably be covered therein.
Thank you, Ron. That's all the questions we have this week.
All right, guys. You better get in that convention. I'm telling you, it's filling up fast. You know, we're getting close. We're only a couple months away. Go get registered for that convention right now, and you'll see that airfare is really cheap to Orlando. And I'll tell you, every day almost we have a meeting on all of the mountain of things that we have to do to prepare for that convention over the next couple of months. It's going to be an event you won't forget, so do not miss it under any circumstances. And when you get this, you still have time to get into my Big Money in Big Chunks, which is on July the 10th and 11th. It's a two-day event. We're going to talk about the big higher end houses, $500,000 and up, and how to make six figures on those. And the good news is you can sit at home and watch it because I'm simulcasting it if you don't want to come to Jacksonville. So go check it out. It's right here on this page somewhere. Go find the link and go see it and get in. I'm only going to do it once, and it's probably a good time. By the way, if you haven't registered for the convention yet, do yourself a favor. I want you to call in and call 800-567-6128. Call that number. And I want you to ask the person that answers the phone, hey, do you still have any of those shameless bribes that Ron is offering available if I register for the convention? I got a surprise for you. You just call in and get registered right now and see what really cool thing we're going to do for you right now. You're not going to believe it. I'll see you next week.